Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today, like it's been a long time since I posted another video. Okay, so happy Diwali to you guys. Okay, so by the way, a lot of updates have come these past few days. Yeah, like we have got other live streamers getting early access to Nefer. So what we're gonna do is we'll see this trailer from Genshin Impact, and then we'll straight away go into the live streamers those have got early access to Nefer, and we'll definitely get to know a lot of details about Nefer, and I'll also give up my views, right? Like if you should pick up Nefer for your account, or like should you straight away skip her for another character, and which all characters do you need to even have, so that Nefer can kick right off if you have this particular character. Okay, so before that, let's get into this trailer, right? Oh, wait. Okay, so here we go, right? And by the way, like we have just one more additional day before. We just have additional day before Nefer's Baron goes live. So yeah, and the schedule's running a bit tight. Let's go.
You're not here on business? You just wanna get to know me?
Come on, at least run at some high quality.
You're not here on business?
No.
You just wanna get to know me?
Yes.
That'll cost a story of your own.
Oh man, this buffering. Like seriously, does the internet have to be this bad? Come on.
Interesting. Next. Too obvious. Next. Fraudsters, scammers, liars, same old tricks. Now, you get a story in return.
Okay. Damn. Hey, Ashu.
Slow.
Yeah.
This is your punishment. Are you okay? Did you hurt yourself? What should we do? Is that all? That's what you get for lying to me.
Okay.
Go ahead, cry. Make me believe it.
Damn. What a trailer, man. That's a
Come
10
again
on 10.
sometime. I'll tell you another.
Enticing offer. Right, guys?
Hey, thank you, Nefer. This is a big like, okay? I love this. Now let's go to this guy. I went to lose.
Hello and welcome to my channel, I Win to Lose Gaming. Nefer, the premier Lunar Bloom DPS character of version Luna 2, is blooming in the Genshin Impact. In today's video, we'll see just how good Nefer is with and without a certain Lauma at Constellation 0 and with various weapons.
This is a great one.
So, Nefer is actually a really interesting character to me because on the surface, she is presumably an Oonga Boonga, very easy to play character. However, once I actually got into it, I realized she was much more mechanically intense and required more creativity than I expected. I know what you're thinking, you can't get a Nefer, my flintastic puns, and I would never make such an obvious joke. I mean, come on guys, like that is just such low-hanging fruit. Fortunately, most people can get most of her value with Oonga Boonga gameplay, but you're also able to squeeze out extra value with practice and some Alhaitham-like rotations. What is up with Dendro characters requiring brain juice? I blame Nahida, that little nerd. Alright, I can't leave long-time subscribers hanging like that. So you guys see that like button, subscribe button, and hype button down below? Well, what I have to say to them is never gonna give you up. And while we're here, we can actually check out her basic attack animations. You can see her basic 1, basic 2, basic 3. She's got a lot of cool little kicks that she does. And I must say her aesthetics look really fitting for Sumeru. She really gives me the Sumeru vibes. Perhaps we'll learn a bit more about her origin and backstory. Another cool little detail, as you can actually see in the sand, the way her attacks leave markings in it, it's actually quite unique in comparison to most other characters. And okay, you guys are gonna have to check out one of the most peculiar parts of her kit. And this is her regular charged attack. So if we actually use her charged attack, you'll notice that she looks shiny, and then she, runs forward by a little bit, and she does a, kind of a charged attack kick at the end of it. But what's so funny about this is that it actually says she enters Slither state, consuming stamina, to move rapidly forward for up to 2.5 seconds.
That's
now, it doesn't
so
say
short.
that she moves faster, but if you're a longtime Genshin Impact player like I am, you can tell this does not look much faster. In fact, if we compare her movement options of using just her feet and dashing versus using her shiny serpent charge attack and versus a combination of charge attack and dashing, for my initial testing, her regular dashing is just faster. I guess that makes sense since running on legs is typically faster than slithering around. In fact, this charged attack for exploration purposes is actually detrimental, as if you do not dash cancel or jump cancel her charge attack at the end, you will consume a ton of additional stamina for literally no additional exploration gain. But unfortunately, I don't recommend using Nefer. Nefer gonna run around and desert you. Now, let's take a look at my Nefer's build throughout most of this video. Of course, I do have to adjust it a bit here and there depending on her teammates.
How beautiful is Nefer, man?
We have some pretty decent stats, and we have the Black Marrow Lantern right here. And we have her artifacts, and these artifacts are indeed quite good. A bit above average for sure. And we can see that she'll be at Constellation 0 throughout, and they finally gave us crowns on the Creator Experience server. So guess what? We have crowned her Elemental skill, and not as necessary, but you can crown her Elemental burst as well. And for her basics, you don't need to worry about that. Now, as for pre-farming materials, this is what Nefer needs. She needs the new boss things, these balls, as well as, Fatui dudes, corpses. And for talent material, we've got this stuff. You've got the moon-ish books. Although, is that a bird in the shape of a moon? Huh, I never noticed that before. As well as more Fatui bits, and finally chess pieces. And of course, you can give a crown to our queen if you want to crown her. And for her weapon, if you plan to pull her signature weapon, these are the materials for the weapon, actually using the Sumeru weapon material, as well as some monster bits from Radiant Beasts and some spores from the funguses. So if you want to get this, you're gonna have to revisit Sumeru.
Oh man.
So let's check out some of Nefer's kit, starting with her basic attacks. Now, we're going to revisit our good old buddy, the Fire Registine. I feel like these days, not quite as bulky as it used to be, but
absolutely.
You can see that her basic attacks, I mean, let's be real, I don't think anyone's surprised
It's too
to see
basic.
this. But yeah, I mean, they're Catalyst attacks, so they do indeed apply Dendro. But alas, you can see just how negligible amount of damage that they are doing. Before we move on to the actually useful parts of Nefer's kit, you need to understand Verdant Dews and the Lunar Bloom reaction. Certain characters have a passive which converts bloom reactions to Lunar Bloom. And despite the strange italicized gradient fill trademark pending Lunar Bloom text appearing, these blooms created via the Lunar Bloom reaction all have the same properties as a normal bloom and still just do regular bloom damage. And yes, that includes other blooms like Hyper Bloom and Burgeon as well. The main difference with these Lunar Blooms is that you'll generate a Verdant Dew, or one of these moon things, which fills up one every 2.5 seconds. You can hold up to 3 of these Verdant Dews, and certain characters can use these Verdant Dews in one way or another. Now, Nefer's kit mostly lies with her elemental skill, and look at how short this description is. This is so short for a modern character's main part of their kit. Notice how we have 3 Verdant Dews right here. So, Nefer, after she uses her elemental skill, she'll go into this special state, where now we can perform this charged attack, which will consume 1 Verdant Dew. And we can do this 3 times when we use our elemental skill. And as we can see, each one will deal a bunch of Lunar Bloom damage. Now, obviously, in that last showcase, we didn't even activate any Lunar Reaction. So let's go ahead and actually activate a Lunar Reaction here with Lunar Bloom. And just by holding down the left mouse button, now you can see where her power lies. In a single elemental skill with minimal help from Aino, she's able to one cycle the Regis-Find. She has 2 charges of this, so she can do that skill plus 3 charged attacks again. When you use her skill, she enters Shadow Dance state. Now she can perform these enhanced charged attacks called Phantasm Performance. And these enhanced charge attacks don't spend any stamina. Each charge attack does consume 1 Verdant Dew. And Nefer's charged attack consists of 2 minuscule Dendro hits from her and 3 big Lunar Bloom hits from her clones. She can perform 3 charged attacks per skill use, and she has 2 charges of her skill. So for most rotations, with their 9-second cooldown, you'll be able to output 6 of these Phantasm Performance charged attacks. Oh right, and her skill generates 2 to 3 particles on hit, although particles always require more testing on release to get the actual number and the actual ratio. And if you can't tell by now, almost all of Nefer's damage comes from Lunar Bloom type damage, aka her clones dealing that Lunar Bloom damage. And since that Lunar Bloom damage scales literally only off of Elemental Mastery, Nefer is a character who scales really well off of Elemental Mastery and very, very poorly off of attack percent. Let's get into a slightly more technical part of Nefer's kit, and this is one of the reasons why I actually like Nefer a lot from a gameplay perspective, is that you can actually, the moment that the first hit of the charge attack connects, you can dash cancel or cancel it, and her clones will finish the attack. So we can see
that's
here,
a pretty dope one,
man. 2 dash cancels right there to massively speed up her animations in order to dash cancel her charged attack animation. Now, admittingly, you do give up on the second Dendro hit, this multiplier right here, but if you were relying on her raw Dendro hit to do damage, well, Nefer gonna make you cry. And just how much time do you actually save with these dash cancels? In this side-by-side comparison, we can see that on the right, Nefer is going way faster. You can see this, but we are dropping that tiny bit of extra Dendro damage, and Nefer actually swapped off at 3 seconds and 44 frames, which saved nearly 2 entire seconds of combo time and field time for Nefer. We've got some more nefarious and deceptive details to talk about, such as the Seeds of Deceit. Thanks to her first passive, if you have Ascendant Gleam, which is when you have 2 or more Nod-Krai Moonsign characters on the team, including Nefer herself, of course, when Nefer uses her elemental skill, all Dendro cores on the field and that are made within 15 seconds will be converted to Seeds of Deceit. These Seeds of Deceit, unlike regular Dendro cores, do not do any damage, truly living up to their deceptive name. And they never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Nefer can absorb these Seeds of Deceit when she uses her charged attack, and for each seed she absorbs, she gains a stack of Veil of Falsehood up to 3 stacks. Each stack increases her enhanced charge attacks damage by 8%, and at 3 stacks she also gains an additional 100 Elemental Mastery. 8%, now this doesn't sound like much, but what makes this 8% particularly powerful is that it's its own multiplier. As we can see in this test, she's doing 8% more with 1 stack, 16% more with 2 stacks, and 43% more at 3 stacks thanks to the 24% and 100 Elemental Mastery. The gain from the Elemental Mastery will be less in a full team and with a proper non-testing build, but hopefully this gets the point across. Absorbing Seeds of Deceit is very important for her to maximize her damage, and by proxy, having Ascendant Gleam because that enables the Seeds of Deceit. Next we have her Elemental Burst. And this thing just does some raw Dendro damage, scaling off of her attack and Elemental Mastery. Nefer will also consume all of her Veil of Falsehood stacks, and each Veil of Falsehood stack increases her burst's damage by 40%. Look at this smile. This is the Dendro / bonus damage multiplier, by the way, but her teams typically don't have much bonus damage, so yeah, it's a pretty big increase for her burst damage. Now, its animation is slow, and it doesn't actually do that much damage, and honestly, under certain circumstances, it's actually neutral for your DPS, but we'll get back to how you can actually utilize it for your benefit in the combo section. As for other passives, here they are. I'm not going to go into them in too much detail right now, but I will in my full guide, so do check that out when it drops when she's released. Alright, so check these combos out. First, we're going to start with the most basic level 1 noob combo. And this, we're using Sucrose, by the way, for her passive that provides Elemental Mastery. Yes, she's pretty scuffed in terms of 4-star options, but this is also just for demonstration purposes. We can just see, I'm literally just pressing E, hold left mouse, E, hold left mouse, and then ending this with a burst. Boss survives, and it takes the longest. Now we have level 2 combo, where now instead, I'm actually going to utilize dash cancels. And because we are spending our Verdant Dew so fast, what we can do is we can actually burst cancel the 3rd charge attack on the first set of charge attacks. And not only does the charge attack still come out, But we also managed to make use of that time that we were waiting for the Verdant dues to generate, and the extra time that we saved by doing the dash cancels to squeeze in that elemental burst. Now for this level 3 combo, we can see it's a little bit more complex, but because we are so fast with the dash cancels on the charge attacks, what we can actually do with this specific team is we can swap in Sucrose to reapply her elemental skills buff, swap in Ino to generate more particles as well as to refresh the instructor's buff. And not only did this take less time than the first combo, it also dealt more damage thanks to refreshing the buffs in order to take out this boss, as well as generating more particles for the team. Now there are some nuances when it comes to using Ino's elemental skill. You can alternatively just swap her on and not use her elemental skill. It's a bit complicated. I'm not going to talk about that right now, maybe in the full guide. But yeah, as we can see, the level 3 combo actually makes a notable difference in many ways. Not only is it faster than the level 1 combo, generates more particles, does more damage, and it's just overall better, and it's also a lot more fun to execute because as you can see, you're not just standing there holding the left mouse button, but you're also dash canceling and being a bit more active and proactive. So yeah, Nefer's combo game actually pleasantly surprised me. At first, I thought she was just a very simple, straightforward character, but in the end, looks like Hoyoverse has always been pretty good at designing characters with additional complexity to their kit that isn't immediately apparent.
Yeah. Very important.
So let's take a look at a few Nefer teams, with this first team being I Never Swipe on gacha games. This team, I decided to actually include Yao Yao instead of like a slightly more damaging option like Kalei, because Yao Yao provides that nice amount of healing as well as, Favonius for more particles. And you can see we're relying on the janky leaf of whatever weapons to buff up Nefer's damage by a little bit. And Sucrose is one of the most copium options that we have, but yeah, as a 4-star character, she can provide that 200 elemental mastery buff or so to Nefer, one of the few elemental mastery buff options that we have. Now this next one, you can actually use Nefer on Nascent Gleam. In particular, if you have Flins and you don't have a Nefer or Lauma, and you also have Nefer, and you need a team for Nefer to, basically work on. Honestly, Nefer
this is a pretty good team.
Ascendant Gleam can still use something like Hyper when you just want to interweave in normal attacks between the charge attacks, and you can use her. It's definitely a lot worse than Ascendant Gleam in my opinion, but it's definitely better than Flins without Ascendant Gleam. Anyway, next we have Nefer plus Nahida. Couldn't think of a clever team name for this one, so it's just Nefer plus Nahida, and pretty straightforward. Let's say you do have Nahida. Actually, most people do have Nahida, so yeah, well, most older players have Nahida, to be more precise here. Yeah, so it's okay. Nahida is a bit of an upgrade, but you don't have a healer on this team, although you can of course slot in Kuki or someone instead. And next we have the Never Gonna Let You Down. This is definitely going to be one of Nefer's more damaging teams.
Never Gonna Let You Down, huh?
Release. I do fully expect, for example, Columbina to be better in the future, but we'll see. I mean, look at this. It's 150k Lunar Bloom ticks with this team, and yeah, this is all
this is the
4-star
team.
weapons as well, by the way. And the next team we have is Nefer Can't Nilo Bloom. Nilo is kind of, in my opinion, a bit wasted on Nefer team, but if you have, for example, the Key of Kajnisa, which this team does not use, and Nilo is actually a pretty darn fantastic Hydro option for Nefer, although, a bit of uptime issues. But even then, with Lauma on the team, you are very, very powerful still. Lauma is just such an insane character for Nefer.
Yeah.
Now next we have a bunch of comparisons of what if we upgraded various parts of Nefer's team, with this first one being a baseline team, and we're just going to be sticking with roughly the same rotation. Of course, we will be changing some characters out, and therefore the rotation is going to be slightly different for each, depending on the characters, of course. We're going to use the tried and true, put a ruler up to the gopher and see how much health it has left by the end of the first rotation, and yeah, that's the first team. So
Yeah, that's a
replaced
fantastic
Sucrose
skill,
with
by the way.
Lauma, and the first team had a 69 nice percent for the gopher. Let's see how this team does with the Lauma upgrade basically. And this team ended up with 54% remaining health on the gopher, meaning that this was a team DPS increase of 48.4%. You don't need me to tell you that, of course, this is all super duper anecdotal, so take it with a grain of salt. Of course, in-game testing is always flawed because of this, but you can at least get a rough idea. Now this team here, we've upgraded Nefer to her signature weapon. I forget what it's called, the Reliquary of something or whatever. And now the Gopher has 42% remaining, a 26% gain from the previous Lauma team. And finally, we've upgraded Lauma signature weapon to, from the Aetherlight to the Night Weaver. And in this case, this team gained a much more modest 6.9%, with the Gopher having 38% of its health remaining. So massive, huge gains. And by the time we've reached basically C0R1 Nefer plus Lauma, the team was doing about twice as much damage as a free-to-play friendly Nefer team, assuming you have Nahida as well.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. I've got a couple free-to-play friendly Stygian
this
Fearless
one.
difficulty 5 runs
Not
with Concentration
again.
0. Nefer, of course, these teams, their builds in terms of like their weapons and stuff are free-to-play friendly, but in terms of Nefer's artifact quality, that is definitely not free-to-play friendly, but I didn't spend too much time on these runs, so there's definitely a lot of room for optimization, improvements to the rotations, improvements to, for example, execution, luck, all that stuff. To compensate a bit for the really high artifact quality, let's be real. But overall, we can see here that this guy is actually kind of insane. He's got so much health, and then you have to like beat it up again or something. It's absolute madness. Unfortunately, of course, Ascendant damage or Ascendant Gleam damage absolutely dumpsters it. So yeah, Nefer's going to be one of the better characters for this set of Stygian onslaughts. And considering this is, I guess, free-to-play friendly, accessible 4-star characters as well as weapons, it's actually a reasonable performance, all things considered. I will say, I personally feel like Nefer is missing more without Lauma in comparison to, for example, Flynn's without Nefer, because when it comes to Lauma, I mean, she is just so good. I mean, modern, it's just absolutely insane how good she is. And yeah, but one interesting thing about Nefer is that she doesn't really have any fantastic healing options, which is kind of an interesting predicament. And this also ties into Lauma's Constellation 1, why it's designed the way that it is. But yeah, overall, of course, just like most modern characters, Nefer is a very powerful character if you need a Lunar Bloom type DPS character. She's going to do quite well against the current Stygian Onslaught. Of course, I will say that I found clearing these Stygian Onslaughts with Nefer to be personally just a bit more difficult than clearing the previous Stygian Onslaughts with the previous featured characters. And here you can see the build that I use for this Stygian Fatui local legend guy. It's not pretty much everything is as expected. However, there are a couple perhaps interesting details about the other characters, like for example Yao here. She's just on a Favonius build with the 4-piece Deepwood Memories. Nothing too special about that. Then we have Sucrose, who okay, you're gonna she's on the 4-piece Silken Moon Serenade. Absolute madness. But yeah, we are scraping the bottom of the barrel when it comes to 4-star options for Nefer, because she only scales off of Elemental Mastery and crit effectively. And when it comes to 4-star characters, well, there's only a few characters that provide the Elemental Mastery buff. None of them really provide the crit buff except for Rosario or something. But yeah, anyway, so this next setup that I have against this boss, I struggled a bit more against this boss, but once I was pointed to this team by 7please actually, so you can check him out if you do. He also does some great clears and content on this game. And we can see here that I am, with this specific team, I was able to clear it, and Nahida is a pretty decent character for Nefer for obvious reasons, being Dendra, providing those particles, as well as providing that Elemental Mastery 250 Elemental Mastery buff, and being very consistent with Deepwood and stuff like that. And of course, Kuki Shinobu is also a pretty good, no-nonsense, energy-independent character that can utilize the Sapwood Blade. And that's really nice, because if you put the Sapwood Blade on Instructor Aino, you may actually struggle, especially without our Constellation 4, to get Aino's burst up, which is why this combination works so well overall, because Kuki has no opportunity cost except for a bit of healing or something to run the Sapwood Blade over, for example, Aino, who actually does lose a lot of energy recharge and particle generation in comparison to her using the Favonian. So yeah, just a nifty little detail in my opinion when it comes to the Sapwood Blade user on Kuki. But this boss obviously completely shills Nefer's mechanic, yada yada yada. You have to do Ascendant Gleam damage or whatever in order to break his shield a lot faster, or else it will just be completely immune to whatever element that you tried breaking his shield with, which is complete nonsense in my opinion, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, they gotta sell these characters, right? So anyway, now I do have to say, if you want some crazy dire clears of these Stygian Onslaughts, DHC WSP is the GOAT for that, so definitely go check it out. I would have tried if I had a bit more time, but alas, I was working on those, the freaking mannequin as well as the Miliastra Wonderland, but you guys know the drill by now. New character, probably good for 2 to 3 patch cycles, I would estimate, until, roughly an upgrade at some point is recommended. For example, then you can expect a new character to be released, like for example, maybe Columbina, which will provide them that upgrade to then clear the new stuff, and perhaps a Lauma rerun within a few patches for that potential upgrade as well, and then after that, Nefer rerun to keep up with the meta. That's just kind of the way Genshin Impact meta has been going right now. So just know what you're buying when it comes to that, and just understand you're here for a good time, not necessarily for the longest time when it comes to clearing, for example, the hardest content in the game. And of course, as always, don't sweat too much about clearing the hardest content in the game. It's really not that big of a deal. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about Nefer down in the comments below. Personally, yeah, she's a good and she's a fun DPS character as expected, and as per Hoyo versus usual tradition when it comes to modern character design. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Went to Lose, signing out.
Oh man. Okay. So that is Nefer for you. Wait, let me get into the game. 1 second. Yeah, like why is the game not loading by the way? Oh, there it's loaded. I don't care about an Nefer. Thank you, Nefer. So let's get into the game and see like what stuff is getting locked. The mini astral talk. There comes Nefer. So who all are Nefer's banners? Of course, Nefer herself. That includes Kale, Shingsho, and Yao Yao. All three are decent, good 5 stars. Okay, I mean 4 stars, and she's absolutely fantastic. So, and on the other 5 stars gonna be Furina. Furina is also kind of perfect. Like she's been going fantastic for the longest period of time. So, okay, so if you guys are confused, like, do you actually even need Nefer? I mean, the new boss that you have seen recently, like the Hera, right? And that boss might come in the next patch, okay? Nefer will be the character needed to defeat Hera, okay? But else I'll see, like, I'll try to explore, like, if there's any other way to beat the new boss that you need to farm materials for her, Nefer, okay? So, so like, there's been certain mechanics, right? Like, Seeds of Deceit, Word and Dew, right? Word and use something that only Lauma could build. So if you could build like if you could so if you did get Lauma when Lauma is present, congratulations. If you do decide to pick Nefer, your life is gonna be on easy mode, especially mm, if you have Nefer and Lauma, your game's on easy mode in Dendro set of teams. Okay? So you need Lauma, you need Aino, and you need these two teammates to ensure that Nefer comes out successfully. And Furina's a pretty fantastic unit, okay? Okay, Furina is a pretty fantastic unit. She's been going fantastically fine. This is the set that you'll have to put on. You guessed it right. You have to put this on Llama, okay? And this will be for Nefer. This is gonna be for DPSs, whereas this is gonna be for supports. So if you have a Nefer, you have Llama, put this on them. Also put this on Aino as well. Aino's, yeah. Now say if you do put this on Llama, right? Apart from energy recharge, which she's gonna get, she's also gonna give the elementary mastery 2 units for 8 seconds. Yeah. If you do have more than if you have two Nod-Krai units, say Nefer and Lauma in the team, you'll get 120 this thing, right? And the lunar damage or the lunar reactions, right, will be increased by 10% if you do have this set. So definitely put this on your Lauma and put this on Nefer. Nefer try to get like 70% crit rate, okay? Because you'll get the other 30 again if you have two Nod-Krai units in your team. So if you have only Nefer in your team, then you're only gonna get 15%. But if you have two, you will get Ascent. You'll get 30%. But this is only gonna be for 4%. So you'll have to do all the damage within maybe the first few seconds, 4 seconds in this case. And again, when all the teams, all the parties are gonna be in there, right? All the lunar reactions are gonna get a 10% increase. And with the seeds of deceit, right? So with each seed, you're gonna get 8% damage if you absorb them. Okay, so if you absorb one seed, you're gonna get 8%. If you absorb two, you'll get 16. But if you absorb three, you're gonna get 24. But you're also gonna get an additional 100 EM, elementary mastery. okay, which is anyways gonna boost up damage by 43%, okay. That is pretty fantastic. So that's what Seeds of Deceit will do. Now, how do you get Seeds of Deceit? You basically produce a bloom, right? With the help of a Dendro character. You need to have a Hydro and a Dendro characters in your team, okay? You can't bring Arlecchino, you can't bring others, okay? Because if you do get Arlecchino or fire type units, they'll burn them and that's it. You won't create Seeds of Deceit. So, her best team mates her with Hydro and other Dendro units. So, yeah. So you definitely need to have Fiorina, you can have Llama, you need to have Llama, right? Llama will be producing word induce and she's gonna be utilizing them to deal charge damage attacks. Yeah, with the help of shadow units, right? Her skill and maybe a no, her skill and maybe a charged attack, right? You activate a skill and then use a charge attack. So a skill is E, and this is gotta be like skill is primary. I guess normal is secondary, and maybe burst is the last one. Okay, so that's what we'll experience. Okay, you want to see like how many days even I have on the banner?
The night is
Wait a
gone.
second. I have these guys. Okay, these guys are gonna be on expedition. And by the way, if you do get Nefer, right, you'll be able to send her on on Nod-Krai expedition. So you'll be able to get your Nod-Krai related materials a lot faster if you do have Nefer in your team. So that's a big plus. Wait, load. See, these guys are gonna load. Nefer is gonna load here in the next 24 hours. So yeah, see. Uh, I can't see Flynn's or Yelen's banner, so they're totally gone. And I have absolutely these many amount of Primogems, so hope I do get Nefer. I'm gonna definitely go and pick Nefer. And see, like, if you guys do have her lava, that's it. And if you plan to get Nefer, you're gonna win. Like, you're gonna be on the top, like, for the next few months. Yes. So, like for Nefer to take, if you need to have Llama, you need to have a Hydra unit. It could be Aino, it could be Furina. Okay. If you have Llama C1, then fantastic. You don't need a healer as well. Well and nice. I think I'll try and get into Llama C1 maybe when she does rerun. But I hope another broken unit doesn't come at that set of time. Okay. Um, Now another unit that is gonna come and replace that is gonna make Nefer a hell lot stronger apart from Lauma. And I know it's gonna be Columbina. She's gonna be the central unit. So if I do wish a Nefer and get her, I'm gonna save on Columbina. Like I'm not gonna wish on Durin or Alice, Waka, no. I will go straight away for Columbina. Cause she is the central unit, okay? You want Flynn's? Flynn's damage will also increase if you do get Columbina. So wait for Columbina. I don't know what pyro-related reactions will come. Cause yeah, you have Electro done, now you have Dendro done, now you're gonna have Pyro also with the help of Durin. Yeah. Let's wait for Durin by the way. Okay. So that's it. So that's all about Nefer, right? And what else did you have? Yeah, and this one's gonna be a filler patch, so once the quest is done and all the other events are done, you won't have any map exploration this time. It'll be on the next patch. So I guess. Wait. Yep. And Nefer's kind of gonna be like Yela and Arlecchino, right? Pretty strong ladies, by the way. Yeah, like there is. See, now we have got like a tall female Hydro, that's Yelan. Papyrus Arlecchino. We have Dendro. For Electro, should I consider Raiden? I mean, Raiden's a pretty fantastic support. But since these ladies are all DPs, right? So Raiden's not a good DPS, and she's off the radar right after Fontaine's off the radar, or maybe even Sumeru. Not Sumeru, sorry. She was riding high when she was in Sumeru, but Fontaine she came off because her damage wasn't up to the mark, and she even fell off in Natlin. Don't forget even this. Forget Nod-Krai as well. So there needs to be an Electro DPS female, okay, and then there needs to be Geo tall female Geo. Wait, there's Navia is the by the way, okay, Navia is there. Yeah, forget everything. So I guess that's it. That's it all about Nefer. Hey guys, by the way, I was talking about the tall females, right? From each and every elemental segment, right? This is for Arlecchino. I mean, yeah, I saw it for each tall female DPS character, okay, from each element. So this is for Arlecchino, this is for Yelan, this is for Nefer, okay, this is for Chlorend. This one's for Chaska. Here we have Eula, but I don't know if I'm gonna call her a physical. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna call her a cryo DPS. So she has a cryo element, but she mostly does huge damage in physical. Okay, but since she's still cryo, okay, in her element, so I will call her cryo unit. Okay, until maybe say the Saritsa comes and replaces her. Okay. What is this? Skirk, right? You said Skirk, right? Skirk is a she's a medium-sized unit. Okay. This is Llama and this is Kirk, so she's very short. Geo's case we have Navia. So where is Navia by the way? This is Llama, this is Navia, this is Llama, this is Navia, and this is Skirk. Ah, you guys must be hearing the crackers getting busted, right? Some guys still have crackers to burst. Yeah, you can listen to these crackers, man. Happy Diwali, by the way. So yeah, by the way, I forgot the main stat for Nefer. Okay, the main stats for Nefer is gonna be none other than EM, and you guys should right. Wait, EM, and crit rate. You basically have to get the crit rate, okay, to you'll have to get the crit rate to this one. You'll have to get Nefer's crit rate to 70 and let the other set, which is this one, uh, take over the 30. But for that, you'll have to basically use Nod-Krai units, which majority we are gonna use because hey, I mean, come on, there's a free crit rate. But if you're someone who's gonna use Lauma in non-Nod-Krai teams, non-Nod-Krai teams, I'd rather suggest you push up to what 85 crit rate, so you get this one for free at least, right? You at least get the 15 for free, okay? So try getting minimum 70 if you're planning to use Nefer with Nord-Krai units, okay? So you can't use Nefer maybe with Kenichi's teams, okay? Because if you do use, you're gonna break up with the seeds. And okay, so now since you've used EM, and this one, wait, how do you even set them? Yeah, that's fine by the way. EM in this case it's a crit rate. Uh, put energy recharge, crit rate, crit damage, and even attack percent. So one's definitely gonna be EM. EM's gonna be on your top priorities. Okay. Then's gonna be say crit rate or crit damage. Try getting crit rate to 70%. You're good enough to go. Okay. This set will take off. Okay. Uh, and then when you come to the crit rate, right? Try getting this to like 70. Okay. It'll be better if you have more elementary mastery, attack, and maybe even crit damage. Hey, this is a perfect set for Nefer. I'm definitely gonna upgrade this. Okay. Attack should be on your last on the priority list. Okay. Elementary mastery first. Okay, because she's gonna do damage mostly to elementary mastery. Two, crit rate, crit damage. Okay, these two, yeah, definitely give a high importance to crit rate. You can ignore crit damage, okay, if you want. Okay, but I would say put a great emphasis on crit rate. Okay, crit damage more than 100, better. Okay, fine, a minimum standard. Attack, don't give much importance to that. Give certain importance, but give double importance to crit. I mean, elementary mastery, then your crit rate, crit damage, etc. Then attack. And if you're using the crit set, then definitely give elementary mastery a priority. Okay, swap them. Attack should be on last, and if we do have extra stats, then think of energy recharge. But she doesn't need energy recharge for the most, cause a burst will deal decent damage. Okay, but majority of the damage is gonna come from a skill. 90%. Like you have seen the I win to lose. 90% is new to blue. 90% is gonna come from a skill, so you don't have to focus on energy for the most of the part. And if you do have Llama on your team, then your energy recharge is sorted for both Llama and Nefer. Because you have two Dendro units. When one gains Dendro energy, the other will also gain as well. So I guess that's it I want to say. And before you do leave, right? If you do like such analysis, please give a like, subscribe, and comment on this channel for more Genshin Impact videos. And I'm gonna see you guys in game tomorrow. With that, see you and happy Diwali. Okay? And yes, if you don't have Nefer, if you don't have Lauma, don't even think of getting Nefer. By every chance. Yeah, just don't think about getting Nefer if you don't have Lauma. Flenz's case, he's independent. He can deal good damage even without the help of Nefer. But if you do have an Nefer in your team, she'll give amazing bonuses. She's kind of like Kinich, okay? Kinich is an independent man. But if you do have, in this case, what is that unit name? Emily. If you do have Emily in your team, she will give you insane amount of damage. Okay? Fantastic amount of damage. But if you don't have, but in this case, not having Lauma, you're gonna have trouble using Nefer. So if you did get Lauma, you're eligible to go pick Nefer as your Dendro DPS. Yeah, even I was initially thinking of her as a Hyper Bloom DPS, but I was thinking of her as Hyper Bloom DPS, but unless you turn her into Caesar Deceit, she's kind of one. But once you turn her into Caesar Deceit, only she's gonna be the one to use it. she's kind of pretty much similar to Navia, where the elemental shards created by the geo element, right? She's the only unit to use geo shards, and she'll use it as ammunition, deal insane good damage. In Navi's case, she gets high damage only thanks to those elemental shards. Similarly, Nefer will use the Seeds of Deceit to deal higher damage. You get the story, right? Arlecchino, pretty fantastic. Elanthos, oh boy. I just can't really use Nefer's team. I definitely do have Nefer's teammates. So yeah, it'll be fun using Nefer. I better go and build certain artifacts for Nefer, right? So that when I do get her, Nefer in this case, I'm equipped to go and shred everyone. I don't know if Nefer's gonna have a separate story, okay? A separate backstory. Lauma's case kinda got intertwined with the main quest, okay? I can't wait to see Durin tomorrow as well. Okay, I can't wait to see Arlecchino. I can't wait to see Arlecchino on Nod-Krai soil. I'm pretty excited for the version Luna 2 story quest. I just can't wait for this 24 hour stream pass. Come on, man, please. I want to experience the story, man. So, with that, I will see you tomorrow in version Luna 2. And I'm kinda ready to say goodbye to version Luna 1. Say goodbye, Lama. Yep, Lama's wishing us the best for version Luna 2. And I'm very excited to get into it. See you tomorrow. Goodbye. And if I miss anything today, I will mention it tomorrow. Okay?
Have you decided where you will go?
Goodbye, see you, take care, and happy Diwali.
Why not find a patch?
And those who are yet to burst crackers, please go burst them, okay?